Okay, hi guys. This is a really important topic in chapter 12, and I realized that I completely forgot to include it, even though if you watch the videos of chapter 12, you'll notice that I keep saying I'm going to talk about types of carbons, and then I never got around to it. So a few years later, here I am just including this video so that you have information about the different types of carbon. Okay, there are four different types of carbon in an organic molecule. There's a primary carbon, and a primary carbon is a carbon that has, well, we already know that carbon always has to have four bonds, right? But a primary carbon, three of the bonds are connected to hydrogens, and only one of the bonds is connected to another carbon, okay? A secondary carbon, that has, out of the four bonds, two of them are connected to carbons. So this is one that's connected to carbon. Two of them are connected to carbons, and then the other two have hydrogens, okay? A tertiary carbon, let me go ahead and put it up here. A tertiary carbon out of the four bonds, you can already see the pattern here. Three of the bonds are connected to carbons, and then one of the bonds has a hydrogen. And then a quaternary carbon, guess what that one is? Four of the bonds of carbon are connected to other carbons. So here we have carbon, 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 carbon. How many hydrogens does a quaternary carbon have? 0, attached directly to that carbon. So if you have a molecule that's got a bunch of carbons in it, you should be able to look at something like this. Let's say, well, actually I should probably put the hydrogens so that you can see it, okay? I love to say pretend all the hydrogens are there when I'm teaching the class, but I suppose I should not pretend. Here are all the hydrogens, okay? I'm going to put them all in, and then I'm going to ask you to look at this molecule and determine which carbons are primary, which are secondary, which are tertiary, and which are quaternary, okay? So we're going to look at this molecule over here, and you can see that obviously this one is primary, so we'll put a primary here. You can see this one's primary. You can see this one's primary. How do I know they're primary? Because they have 3 hydrogens attached to that carbon, okay? So anytime you have a carbon that has 3 of the 4 bonds attached to hydrogens, that's a primary carbon. Only 1 out of the 4 bonds is attached to a carbon. Okay, see this one over here? This is secondary. Why is it secondary? Because it has 2 hydrogens, 2 carbons. So this one's secondary. Are there any other secondaries? Here, this one looks like it's secondary, so this is secondary also. You can see that this one over here has only 1 hydrogen attached. It has 3 bonds to carbons, so this would be tertiary. And then this one over here, you can see that it's 1, 2, 3, 4 of the bonds. 4 of the 4 carbon bonds are attached to carbon, so this is quaternary. Okay? So you need to be able to look at a molecule and determine how many primary carbons, how many secondary, how many tertiary, and how many quaternary. You should be able to do this with a line drawing or an expanded drawing. And there you go. Okay.